Hi, this is John. Welcome to my video about my setup of an 8-step analog sequencer on VCVRack, working with my external MIDI hardware. So what I have here is, you can see the VCVRack patch. I have a clock on the left, and effectively I have two 8-step sequences going on with the two lanes of intervallic here. So the top lane of the sequencer has eight steps on it, and you can see I've quantized it to the C minor scale up here. And the second lane of the sequencer is another 8 steps, and underneath I have some triggers which I've mapped to the same output as the first lane of the sequencer, which is to my Crave synthesizer, which is over here. And the second set of triggers I've mapped to the second MIDI output, which is my JT4000M micro, which is here. And so you'll see I'm sending the trigger from the first set of triggers to do with sequencer lane 1 straight into the Crave. For the second one, for the JT4000, I'm actually turning it into a variable length gate signal, which I can adjust using this dial here, before that goes into the JT4000 MIDI. The audio is coming back in from my M2 audio interface. So the synths are patched into my mixer, which goes into input 1 of my audio interface, which is plugged into my computer. And the other thing is I've got a MIDI clock going to my Behringer Edge, which is here. So there are the synths and the mixer. So the other thing to note is you'll see all the yellow dots on here by the sequencer lanes, also the triggers down here. I'm not using the CV3 3 CV lanes on the SEQ3 module, because the ones on intervallic, you can set the range, which is really helpful. So I can set it to plus or minus 2 octave range there. Yep, 2 octave range. And so then the other thing to note is we've also got some yellow dots on here on the clock. So what that means is those items are MIDI mapped. So looking down here in front of my keyboard, I've got my nano control there, and so the first rotational dials, they are, or the encoders, they're set to the first lane of the sequencer. So adjusting those adjusts the sequencer on the Crave. The sliders are set to the second lane on the sequencer, so they adjust the notes going to the JT4000M, and the mute buttons are the triggers for the Crave, and the record, eight of each of those, they're the triggers for the JT4000. So as I press those, you'll see them go on and off over here. So let's see what it sounds like. I'll turn the gate, let's turn it down a bit for now. So volumes are all down. I'll press the play button on here is mapped. So that's the JT4000 down. Set the cut off in the middle. You see as I adjust the gate here, reduces or increases. I can reduce the steps. And adjust it. So that's the JT4000 and the Crave similarly on the top line. And on the Crave patch here, I've got the LFO and the noise mapped into the mix inputs, and the VC mix is controlling the output of that, and that's mixed here. So I can have just the oscillator on there, or just the VC mix. The VC mix is either just the LFO or just the noise. So by blending those, we can introduce three voices. Just bring the JT4000 in. So let's also add the edge. This is using its own sequencer. You get the idea. There we go. Hope that was fun. So yeah, that's the 2-lane analog sequencer set up on VCVRack with 2 lanes of mute and unmute triggers, variable gate length for one of them, all mixed in back in from my audio interface back into my Mac. Okay, thanks a lot. See you at the next one.